All right, guys, so now we're going to talk about the product rule of simplifying square roots, okay? So looking at this first problem, we have the square root of 10 times the square root of 5. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is it's sort of similar to fractions, the way this works. Okay, we got the stuff on the inside, and then looking at problem number 2, you can see that we've got some stuff on the outside here. Okay, so when we multiply square root terms together, we're going to multiply the stuff on the outside together, and we're going to multiply the stuff on the inside together. So looking at this first problem, we see we have the square root of 10 times the square root of 5. That is the same as the square root of 10 times 5. Okay, so all we're going to do is multiply the stuff on the inside. So 10 times 5 is 50. And then we're going to simplify the square root. Okay, so remember, when we're finding square roots or simplifying square roots, we're going to make a factor tree. We are looking for perfect squares that we can factor out of here. Okay, so 50, we can get to 50 a couple of ways. 10 times 5 is one way. Okay, but the better way is 2 times 25. Okay, 2 times 25 gives us 50. I like this for a couple of reasons. One, it's simple. I always know that an even number is a multiple of 2. Okay, I like it even better because even though 25 is not a prime, I know it's a perfect square. I can get it by multiplying 5 times 5. Okay, so we've got 5 times 5. These are both prime. So either way, even if they weren't prime, we're going to stop. Whenever you're factoring aside and you get it down to a pair of numbers, stop factoring. There's nothing left that you need to do. We've got our square roots. Okay, so now we're going to rewrite this. 2 times 5 times 5. Okay, so the 2 is single. It has to stay inside the house. Okay, unless there's pairs, we can't break them out, right? So we can't factor this 2 out because I don't know what the square root of 2 is. I do know that 5 times 5 is 25, so the square root of 25 is 5. So I get to take one of these 5s out, and I'm going to get rid of the other one. So this 5 comes out, square root of 2 stays in, and I'm all done. To check my work here, okay, I'm going to see this outside number here. We're going to multiply it by itself. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 2 is 50. So we got a good answer here. So the square root of 50 is the same as 5 times the square root of 2. Okay, so that's how we're going to do the ones with nothing on the outside. Okay, but looking at problem number 2, we see we've got 4 times the square root of 8 times 3 times the square root of 6. Well, the associative property or commutative property of multiplication say that since we're multiplying all these, there's no addition or subtraction in here, we can rearrange this and multiply them in any order that we want. So let's multiply them in an order that helps us. So we're going to multiply the stuff on the outside together. Okay, so we're going to rearrange. Okay, the 4 and 3, we're going to bring those together. 4 times 3 stays on the outside. And then inside the radicand, we've got square root of 8 times the square root of 6. Okay, so now we're going to multiply all this stuff together. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. Square root of 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, so we're going to kind of leave this 12 alone for now, and we're going to bring that back with us at the end once we figure out what we can pull out of here for the square root of 48. All right, so we can try to think of some different squares that go with this. If they don't come to you, there's an easy one and maybe a harder one. So this one, maybe you don't see it right away. Maybe you realize that 6 times 8 is 48. So we'll go ahead and do that. So 6 is not a prime, 8 is not a prime. We know they're not prime because they're both even numbers. So, and they're not pairs, so we got to keep going. Well, to get to 6, at this point, I know it's 2 times 3. Both of those are prime, so we can stop. 8 is 2 and 4. Okay, 2 is prime, 4 isn't. So we're going to keep going here. Well, 2 times 2. All right, so this is a little bit messier, but it's going to work out fine. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and rewrite this. So this 12 is going to stay with us on the outside. We're going to make a big radicand here. We've got 2. We're going to put all the numbers together. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 2's. So we got 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then we've got a single 3 here. And let's real quickly make sure that we got this right. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. Okay, we're good. Okay, at this point, we want to find our pairs of numbers to factor out. Okay, so we've got a pair of 2's here, and we got another pair of 2's here. And then the 3 is by itself, so it doesn't get to go anywhere, stuck in the house. So we're going to pull out this 2. We're going to pull out this 2, and those get thrown away because they are square roots. So that leaves us over here. We've got 2 times 2 times 12. The 12 still hasn't gone anywhere. We're finally going to get to do something with it. Times square root of 3. Okay, now we're going to simplify this stuff on the outside. 2 times 2 times 12. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 12 is 48. Times the square root of 3. And that is our final answer. Okay, so I'm not sure how we could check that one. This one gets a little bit more out of control. So that's our final answer.